pretty hard too, that you still, continue to look to see if you're accepted. And so it's always, self-help. And, right now with COVID, that is probably given a lot of people time to sit back at home and think about, all right, now what am I going to do on my next path? I mean, right now I've just been sitting on the couch eating too many potato chips. So I've got to work on that next path. Your self-acceptance as to when you're ready. But I guess same thing with, it's your choices, and that it's mainly accepting your choice. It's all inner. With sport, and even that's why I never start with what I've done, succeeded in basketball. I was like, well, that's not me. I don't always just say I'm a basketball player. I said, well, I'm Richard, I'm First Nations, I love all sports. And so I'll talk about all different activities. And so there's many different aspects and many different circles. I mean, for me, I've always had a challenge with, I've lost or missed many different activities back home because I was off in sport. So then I was like, well, hold on, why should I be doing sport? I should be back home with these family events. And then my family's like, well, no, Richard, you're fine. It's okay to, do what you're doing and continue on your path. And so it's always been a bit of a challenge of sometimes, you step outside of one circle and then venture off into the other. But I've always had that challenge, continuously, that to feel full acceptance or full belonging. And I enjoy both of them. And I think a lot of coaches, and I've had support with players too, that have said, all right, well, no, it's still your choice. Yeah, we'd love to have you here, but we know you've got a family event back home. And so it's been, pretty open on both aspects. And I think that's, I've been very fortunate that I've, just come across that. And everybody will always say, I'm sure if you talk to some of the coaches or some of the players that I've played with, that I've always been very quiet, sitting back in the background, but I'm always trying to take as much in as possible. And that's sort of waiting. And then I'll sort of speak up when I feel it's ready. And then I guess mainly once I feel I'm safe in that, when I feel like I belong, then I can offer, my 2 cents. And so I think it's always been a bit of a challenge for me on every different aspect. I think I'd say, do I feel 100% belonging in all different aspects, whether it be work, my marriage, sport? I was like, well, no, I always say there's still room for improvement. And so I'm still trying to learn. So I think that's one of the big things too, is continue to learn to grow those relationships, whether it be on all different aspects. And so, yeah, but it's always, I guess, what I feel inside. What's hopefully that you feel that belonging with yourself and accept yourself, and then continue on.
Like Richard said, right? It's an ongoing journey, and I can sit here and confidently talk about coming out, and also know, that metaphorically speaking, there are any number of other things in life that I'm in the closet for, right? And I think that's I assume that's just actually what life is and will always be, is this continual process and journey. But I also think it's only that if we want it to be, or it's only that if we devote ourselves to it, because it's also really easy to just, well, let me say, it's not actually easy at all to be in the closet for anything, but in some ways it can be easier than trying to figure out how to reach self-acceptance and come out and share it, right? And so doing that's a really intentional effort, I think. I do think time helps, and little baby steps and things like that. Maybe just one day you're like, yeah, I'm ready for this. But I do think it's it's a practice, it's an intention, it's a way that, we strive to live our lives. If that's important to us, then it's something that we have to work on. And I think there are a lot of ways to work on it. Taking, I think there's, great work that you can do in therapy. There's great work that you can do journaling with yourself. There's great work that you can do with a best friend, or, my girlfriend is my number one confidant, and the things that I share with her, maybe one day I'll feel comfortable sharing with other people too. But right now they live in that space, and, just even within that is growth. Right. And so, I think it's an intentional decision that if we want to find belonging, then we have to intentionally decide that, and we do have to devote ourselves to it. And it doesn't have to be something that we do totally alone. We can enlist support and resources. We can read books. We can, watch TED Talks maybe, or like use online forums to connect with other people and these kinds of things. But it is a journey, and it's something that I do think we have to be intentional about. It doesn't happen really just on accident, at least not most of the time.